welcome to my channel, or welcome back. My name is Alyssa, and today we are doing just a little video of some empties, declutters, that kind of thing. I don't do a lot of empties or declutters just because my collection isn't so big, and I do try to use it up without just, hate panning and all that. So I might not have as many empties as some channels. I also don't show like skincare empties and hair care and stuff like that unless I feel like it's something I really want to talk about. So in general, it's makeup and nail stuff. So if you want to see what I have used up or changed up in my collection recently, then please keep watching. I feel like I keep adjusting the camera, so sorry if I'm like, all over the place. But yes, so sometimes I also use this video as a chance to talk about anything new that's come into my collection, and at this time the answer is nothing new has come in. I have actually finished enough of, I haven't finished any nail products. I have been very tempted, but what's been awesome is that I use my little technique of, I make a cart and then I kind of step away, and then what's been happening is stuff has either been going out of stock or, sales have ended or things, and then I'm less, inclined to buy. It's like, it's something I can wait for. Just the longer that time passes, it's not, I don't have that same urgency feeling. So for nails, I am still trying to wait to finish some up. And I'm also thinking about the fact that even if I finish one nail polish, I'm not just going to go and buy one nail polish. Generally, I'd want to go and buy maybe 3 or so, just because there's shipping costs and stuff like that. So, if I want to buy 3, then I need to use up more than just one. So, it kind of helps keep me from buying more of that as well. And also, I've been really liking the ones that I have and playing with them a bit more. So I will get into that a bit more. Maybe that video is going up first or not. I don't know. I've been working on how I'm doing my nail polish panning. But yeah, so no new items that way. Lip stuff, I could get something, but I haven't been tempted. There's not anything right now that I haven't been going and looking at stuff. So I think that's part of it, but I haven't wanted to go and look at stuff. It's not like I'm trying to keep myself from looking like I kind of am with the nail polish. It's more of I just don't have an interest, and I'm more interested in using up the stuff I have right now. So I'm like, well, if that's how I feel, then I'd rather stick with that, kind of feeling. I think part of it is also that it's a little tricky for me to be using some of my lip products. I can throw them on sometimes for videos or things like that, or for like part of the day. But I've been doing lots of volunteering at the school and going and doing stuff like that, or going to stores. And I always wear a mask when I'm volunteering, and usually when I'm at stores and all as well. And so if I'm wearing a mask, I don't want to have lip products on for various reasons. So, if I know I'm going to be going out in an hour, then I might not bother putting on something on my lips, if that makes sense. So that's part of it. But I have managed to finish this Milani lipstick, which is part of the reason that I am able to then go get something. By my rules, I said I need to finish 2 items, which I finished a NYX lip liner, and I'm very close to finishing some other products. So who knows, by the time this video goes live, I might have finished something else, and then they'll just go into the next video, and that's fine. But yeah, I had kind of thought about, let me maybe finish 3 before I think about bringing something in. So technically, if I do that, I'm not there yet. I've only finished 2. But I think I will have finished 3, who knows when. Maybe even, I'm even thinking about the fact that, because it's like I just finished this, and then if I'm close to finishing something else, my lip products update went up. I don't know. Sometimes, if I pre-film stuff, it throws things off, but I figure it doesn't really matter. If you are watching all the stuff, you see all the things anyway. And, I guess this is also a spoiler depending on when this goes up, because then there's the deck of panning video where I'm trying to finish this. I feel like I'm blabbering. I'm sorry. Okay. But yeah, this was actually trying to be finished off in deck of panning, and I did do that. There's technically this tiniest little smidge up here, but because of where the plastic is, when I do, I can't really get it on my lips, and I'm not going to dig it out. I don't know how much is actually left if I was to dig it out, but that would just seem so messy, and it's not worth it to me for that. But yeah, this was in the shade So Obsessed, And I did become more obsessed with it as I was using it. I really did at the end like having it on the outer part. Sometimes I would put it on all over and then do something lighter, but often just doing some sort of lip gloss and then having this around for some definition was nice. So I could see having some sort of dark brown as just sort of a like staple item in my collection, but it doesn't need to be this one. It could be something else. Although I did notice that it looks like the prices of these may have come back down from like more back to what they were, but they're still overpriced for how much product you get in them. Something else that I have finished is a Milani eye primer. This is normally my go-to eye primer. Currently, I'm using one from Wet n Wild, and I see no reason to stop using that one. It's been going okay. The longevity seems the same as this one. I'm not sure if there's as much product. Actually, wait, let me check. I just realized I have it right here. Let's see. There's 10 mil. Oh, actually, there's 1 extra milliliter in the Wet n Wild than there is in the Milani. Now, I will say that the Wet n Wild, more of it, it's more liquidy, and so it tends to come out a little bit more than I need, and it's like runny and stuff. So I'm not sure if that will make me go through it faster or not. But like I said, it seems to work as well for me as the Milani. The price was lower. And that's even not taking into consideration that it has 1 extra milliliter. That's just the base price. And yeah, we'll see. There's also, I heard someone mention something about maybe there's separated at some point. I don't know how long they have it. I do tend to go through my eye primers, I think, a little faster than some people because I'm wearing it every single day. So there's that. Yeah, so I mean, if it goes bad, then I guess I might have to, switch off. And then if it goes bad before I finish it up, because I have not had that happen with the Milani, I've always been able to just use them, then I think I would go back to buying the Milani. But it also depends. Like if I get like most of the way through, then maybe it's still fine because like I said, it was, I don't know if it was half the price of the Milani when I got it, but it was lower. Now something that is not an empty, but I am done using, which is funny because this was sort of a top favorite, and then I was getting worried about how am I going to replace this because I'm not currently purchasing from e.l.f., or at least I was like, well, but if it's the only brand that is making the thing, do I just buy then that one thing and then that's it? I don't know, but I'm like, well, I've got time to think about it because I still have a decent amount of product that's in there. But yeah, here's the thing. I started to notice, and I noticed it more when I was wearing neutral eyeshadows, because neutral eyeshadow is brown. And so when I was putting it on the lower lash line, because I was kind of doing like sort of like a lighter neutral matte eyeshadow, and then I would do like darker, sometimes sparkly, but sometimes just matte like under here, or maybe like a pop of shimmer. And I kept noticing that I was having it travel down, and I was maybe having that some with the colorful ones, but a lot of times the colorful ones, maybe I'm using like yellow and like it's not as obvious, but when you're using brown, it just would look like, I'm having like dark circles, which I'm using this to prevent dark circles. And I noticed that it seemed to be when I was using this, I was having the issue, perhaps. So I, went ahead and stopped using it. And I don't normally use this every day anyway. It's just sort of like if I feel like it's a little darker around there. So I tried the same eyeshadows without this. And because I'm sorry, I didn't really explain. This is the like under eye brightener type of thing. And so when I didn't use this with those eyeshadows, they didn't have the same issue. And then I was, trying other eyeshadows, and I wasn't having that happen. And so, yeah, this is the culprit. And so I was thinking about it. It's like, well, is there any situation where I'd still want to use this and not, worry about that? But then I'm like, wait, no, because I always want to use this because I'm having darkness, and it's going to make things come down and spread and have that. It also just tend to be like a little bit shinier anyway, which sometimes I feel like makes because it's not, I have like a little bit of darkness, but it's also like just like the way the bone and shape of my face and all, like there's just, I'm not sure if you can see in the camera, I'm like looking at myself in the mirror, but like right around here, and it goes like around, it's just the, my anatomy. And, if I have something shiny, it almost brings it out more, I feel like. It doesn't, the brightness of that, the shininess doesn't then make it, you know, because like sometimes they talk about brightness is like kind of makes things pop out more, and then using dark to like bring it in. So like you wouldn't want to use something dark because it would make it like look more sunken in. But the shiny part of the brightening did not do good things, I felt like then after, you know, I don't know, like I've used it before. I feel like I did use it, so I don't know. Maybe I've just changed. Maybe my face has changed as well. You know, I've gotten older since first getting this. But yeah, it's actually a great feeling that it's like, well, fine. I didn't want to buy this again anyway, and now I won't, and I'm just not going to finish it either because, you know, I got definitely my money's worth out of it. I got to try it out and see what I thought, and I have no desire to get another one at this point. I would just maybe use regular concealer, but I don't do much of that anyway, so we'll see. Okay, so this is a bit of a spoiler, potentially, because again, it's also like when the videos go up and all that. So this is about one of my palettes. So if you don't want to hear about it, then you could go ahead and I'll say goodbye to you now. But for those of you who want to know, I was doing a whole bunch of color swatching, and I talk about it in the video as well, but every summer I've been doing a thing where I go through and swatch a whole bunch of like all of my red eyeshadows, all of my teal eyeshadows, like things like that. And, you know, I just kind of have them go up. And so when I was doing that, I noticed that in my one palette, the shades that were satins were just like performing like a matte eyeshadow. And then that was kind of making me think, well, maybe that's not great to be using anymore then. And then I'm like, well, but I don't know, I mean, maybe I could use them as mattes. Let me see. So I did wear them like that, and they just weren't as great. And some of the colors are unique for what I have, but that just means to me that they're expiring, and I don't want to be using this, or expired, I guess. I don't want to use expired makeup, even if I could kind of make it work. It's not, you know, if for some reason I want those colors at some point, which they weren't really ones I was using a ton, then maybe I would go and seek those colors out just in a matte formula that I like. So this is my Prados Matriarch palette. I don't actually have the palette anymore. I recycled the packaging and I took out all the pans. I did save roughly half of them. So one of them is being used as like a mixer with my bronzer. The other 14, I put 3 of them in here, and then the rest of them, I need to be careful because this red eyeshadow is like, all of a sudden, it just, part of it came out. Like it already, like most of this had been filled in, and then it just like came out and made a mess, and that was not fun. So I don't know, like I didn't drop the palette or anything. So I'm like, what's your problem? Like these, I'm like, I just popped you out of a palette, so you're a little bit more fragile. It's like, you've been popped out for a while, so you need to calm down. But yeah, what's really fun is seeing them all like this together has been a little bit more exciting and wanting, you know, making me want to use them, and I have. So just not having it in that palette in the order they were in, because they were kind of scrambled around a bit, so this way I could kind of more like, these are the pinks and these are more the warm ones and things like that, because yeah, it made it a little bit harder to tell what color was what. Like some of them just didn't come off in the palette the way that they would on my eyes. So yeah, I only have 14 that I'm using as eyeshadows now out of the 30. So that's a whole bunch of eyeshadows that were decluttered. Now I did have a goal to declutter or finish 20 eyeshadows this year, so that puts me over. But I did kind of count it as a separate thing. So just because it was kind of all at once in like this palette, so I didn't want to be like, ooh, look at me, all that I did. Like I'd rather have more empties than just having to dump things out. But maybe this will help me get these, like get some pans or get some empties out of them, who knows. So that was, you know, fun to do because I feel more inspired to use the shadows that I am left with. And I'm also always fine with like downsizing my collection a bit so that I feel like I can actually use everything properly. All right. This has been maybe a lot of talking. Hopefully you found it interesting and enlightening. I don't know. But I want to thank you for watching. And until my next video, I hope you'll be doing well. I hope my feet wake back up from falling asleep, and I will see you then. Bye!